Thank you. That was beautiful. Good morning. Good morning to those of you here and to those joining us online. And welcome to this very special Sunday morning service of Remembrance. Thank you for joining the Vancouver Unitarians, broadcast online and here in person. Too, doesn't it feel good to be here today? Yeah. We are in our beautiful sanctuary on this drizzly Sunday morning on the corner of Oak and 49th, and we acknowledge that our campus is situated on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded lands of the Coast Salish people, the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. Unceded means they were never sold or given in an agreement to be used and occupied by settlers and colonizers. We are grateful to the First Nations people, and we recognize our responsibility for good stewardship of this land and of our relationships with our Indigenous neighbors. I am Reverend Lara Cowtan, and it is my honor to serve the Vancouver Unitarians as interim minister during this time of transition. Our beliefs as Unitarian Universalists are diverse and inclusive, and we recognize that our strength comes from that diversity in all of its forms. We have no shared creed. Our shared covenant supports the free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and even when we disagree, we are united by our principle of acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations and in Unitarian Universalism and in ourselves. You can bring here your whole self, your full identity, your questioning mind, your expansive heart. We create community beyond boundaries, working for more justice and more love in our own lives and in the world. Every Sunday, children, you may have noticed, online you can't see them. The camera angle does not show our children. But children are invited to sit and stretch out in our wonderfully newly created playground up here on pillows and carpet with coloring and books and soft things to play quietly, or just to sit and be part of our service as we welcome people of all ages. This week, our volunteers with the children are Rose and Juliet. Raise your hands. Rose and Juliet. Hi, there you are. Thank you. Thank you for letting me point you out like that so awkwardly. And if you want or need more room or less quiet, they can bring you over to the place in the hall that is our spirit space for more spirited activities, and parents are welcome to go there as well and enjoy the service on a television screen there. Please feel free to move between these spaces when you need to, being mindful of those around you. And now I invite you to take a few moments online as well in the chat to greet one another. Stand and turn and in COVID-friendly ways say hello to people that you have not seen in a while. And when I raise my hand like this, and you can see me raising my hand like this to call us back, I invite you to also raise your hand and then be quiet and come back here. Thank you. Good. Well done. Herding cats has never been easier. All right. Next Sunday, we'll be having a special ceremony to welcome new members who have joined since before UCV moved online, before the pandemic. If you are a new member, we hope you will participate either in person or virtually by sending a photograph. And if you're interested in becoming a new member between now and next Wednesday, we need to hear from you. Next Sunday, rather, sorry. So please send an email to myself or to Derek, our Membership Outreach Coordinator, at MOC, for Membership Outreach Coordinator, at vancouverunitarians.ca, and we will get back to you. It's good to have something to celebrate. Each week, we invite people to share during the service financial offerings during the service, either online, through online giving, or in baskets that will be at the back of the sanctuary because we're not passing things anymore, so as you exit. These gifts are an opportunity to support this congregation, and they're shared with organizations chosen every quarter by our Outreach Opportunities Fund. And these funds, they do great work in Vancouver, identifying ways that we collectively can have a great, real impact with our financial resources. And we've been sharing our offering plate since May, since the spring, with the Indian Residential School Survivors Society. And today marks a new quarter, and we will be beginning today with sharing your gifts with the Quest Outreach Society. And we have a special guest here today to tell you about this organization. Melody Mason from the Outreach Opportunities Fund is here, and welcoming also Theo Lamb, who is the Executive Director of the Quest Outreach Society, to tell us a little bit about that organization. Thank you, Cleo. Do you want her to come up here? Cleo, can you come up to... Sorry, our tech crew is...
Thank you. And my son Sagan is coming with me as well. Good morning, everyone. My name is Theodore Lamb, but you can call me Theo, and this is my son Sagan. And we're very happy to be here in community with you. I can't remember the last time I was in a room with so many people in such a beautiful space on the unceded territories. And I also want to express my gratitude for having a play space. It's a lifesaver. Really, it's a brilliant idea and allows us to be present in a community with all of you. I'm the Executive Director of Quest Outreach Society, and I've been there for about 4 months. I'm very new to the organization. Sagan, don't go far. Thank you, Reverend. Quest has been around for close to 20 years, and we operate 5 grocery markets across the Lower Mainland. We exist to disrupt the cycle of poverty by creating spaces that are filled with dignity and allow affordable, nutritional food to make their way to individuals and families facing economic barriers. We do this by creating grocery markets that our clients can come to, step into, choose as much food as they need, as many times as they need, and then to be able to come home. We're not a food bank, and we still really need food banks. And we're also not a traditional market either. We fill that gap between, which is where we see ourselves in the cycle of disruption. Folks who are going to the food banks, my love, just wait 1 second. Folks who are going to the food banks get enough food for the week for a few days. And the rest of the time, they make sure they're watching their money and go to the market. But if you can be a client at Quest, you can shop for the same food at very little cost. That's because we set up partnerships with partners and organizations, farms, and distributors from across the province to bring in local, healthy food. And I cannot tell you what a difference it makes for folks to step into a grocery store, not have to explain themselves, and buy what they need and go home. In my time at Quest, I think the face of poverty, Sagan, come back. The face of poverty has shifted in my mind. It's deeply invisible amongst our client community. These are parents and individuals who are working sometimes multiple jobs and struggling to get by. And so the opportunity to step into a space and buy what they need is a remarkable opportunity. We are a nonprofit. We are funded through donations. And I'm so grateful, Melody, you found us and we found you. And we have this opportunity to be in community with everyone here. Thank you for all of your support. And thank you for supporting Quest and communities across British Columbia who are in need of these spaces of dignity. They're so important. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Theo and Sagan. And Theo, I apologize for saying your name incorrectly earlier. Your names are important. This time of year is laden with holidays. We've got Diwali as the Festival of Lights happening right now, and Dia de los Muertos last week, and Samhain, and All Saints and All Souls Days. It's a time to remember those who came before and to look with hope to the future. This Thursday, November 11th, at 2 p.m., here at UCV will be the 6th annual White Poppy Peace Poppy Wreath Laying ceremony to commemorate people who died in conflict and a commitment to finding nonviolent solutions to conflicts. Today's service is a special recognition of Remembrance Day. Today we honor Canada's veterans who have sacrificed so that we may live in freedom and hope of a better future. The Canadian flag will be raised again at sunset today after staying at half-mast since May 30th, following the first of an ongoing series of discoveries of unmarked graves at former residential school sites. In recognition and in sorrow for the children, the survivors, and the families impacted by the Indian residential schools. Children who did not get to live in freedom or with hope for a better future. The flag will be lowered again tomorrow for Indigenous Veterans Day to honor the important contributions made by First Nations, Inuit, and Métis veterans in service to Canada. The flags will then again be raised and lowered for November 11th, for Remembrance Day, known as Armistice Day the world over. With these rituals and symbols, and through our own daily actions, we honor and remember those who have sacrificed. And we remind ourselves that there is still work to be done to achieve freedom for all. Please join me at home with your own candles and here in the sanctuary settling in as we light our chalice and prepare to enter into our worship time together. We light this chalice in honor of the history that holds and heals us, for the stories of heroism that inspire our own, for the faces of loved ones who have passed, and in whose images we see our better selves, for reminders of those who paved the path on which we travel and blessed us with advantages we didn't earn all on our own. These memories do not live in the past. They carve the contours of our present. They throw themselves into our futures and lure us into building a better life for all. They are here today. Look, listen, let them in. May their light guide our way. Our opening hymn, We Shall Overcome. A reminder that we may hum along or sing the words in our heart in the sanctuary, and for those of you at home, to sing with gusto into your screens.
Good morning to all. So good to be here with all of you in the sanctuary and at home. Like many other faith traditions, we have a tradition of candle lighting to remember treasured individuals and important events. This morning we have a few requests, and as each candle is lit, please take a moment to hold the request in your heart and join us in saying, "We light this candle together." We start, as we have many of the past Sundays, with a special candle with an orange ribbon. This candle is for the children found at residential school properties. We also remember their families. We light this candle together. I would also like to light a candle to commemorate all victims of war, whoever they were and wherever they lived, and to call for dialogue and peace, peaceful conflict resolutions. We light this candle together. Marcia Brondy asks that we light a candle for Sean Lamb, who died October 20th. Sean curated Nelson's historical treasures and ensured their home at the Touchstone Museum. She was Marcia's friend, mentor, inspirer, and worker for KootenaiFeminism.com. She worked to preserve community social justice efforts. We light this candle together. Hanno Pinder asks us to please light a candle for her new great-grandson, born on Friday in Halifax. We light this candle together. Catherine Hembling requests a candle for her grandfather, her uncle, her father, and her cousin, who all served in various ways. They survived but were not unscathed. We light this candle together. Nancy Woodham asks us to please light a candle in remembrance of her mother, who passed away 4 years ago this week. We light this candle together. Mina Wong requests a candle for Indigenous and Asian Canadians who fought for Canada despite racism and injustice. We light this candle together. We light a last candle for ourselves as a symbol of our community and our care and concern for each other. We light this candle together.
Please take a deep breath. Settle in and feel how your body is connected and held to the seat and the ground below you. I'm going to read what is called a Veterans Day Prayer by Ken Langer, after which we will have 2 minutes of silence to reflect. In the name of that which we hold sacred, let us come together in the spirit of prayer, meditation, and reflection. Today is a day we look into the past and honor the bravery and dedication of men and women and people of all kinds in uniforms. Let us take this time to honor those who have served this nation. Let us honor the soldier, the sailor, the flyer and marine who have sacrificed to defend our borders and maintain the freedoms we enjoy. Let us also honor the ones who have tended to those who have made such sacrifices. Let us honor the doctors, the nurses, the medics, and all those who care for people and keep us strong. Let us honor the families of those many kinds of heroes. The mothers, the fathers, the siblings, the partners, the friends. Let us also honor the listeners, the compassionate healers of the heart who bear the pains not seen. May all the sacrifice and injury that has gone before lead us to a greater justice, a wider acceptance, and a deeper peace. May all the healing undertaken in the wake of their impactful lives lead us to a greater recovery of the soul. Let us honor the courage, the valor, and the fortitude of the ones who have given of themselves to make our lives better. We honor all these brave people through our remembrances, our thoughts, and our gratitude. This we ask in the name of that which we hold sacred. So may it be. Amen. Thank you, Clara. Our readings today are drawn from the Canadian Letters and Images Project, an online archive of Canadian war experience. The first letter that will be read is not George Hedley Kempling's diary entry as listed in the order of service. It is a letter from Vaughan Whittier Pearson, who was born in Toronto, Ontario in 1898 and was a student at the University of Toronto when he enlisted in April in 1916. He served overseas in France until the end of the war. Vaughan Pearson was the third of 3 sons to serve overseas, following his brothers Marmaduke and Lester B. Pearson, a future Prime Minister of Canada. This reading from Jeff Gomery.
Belgium, October 30, 1917. Dear Mother and Father, it is only just now that I have time to drop a few letters, so I am making use of this short spell before going back to the guns. I dropped you a whiz-bang a day or so ago, but of course this did not give you much news. The last 5 or 6 days have been the busiest we have struck since arriving in France. It has been one continuous shift of work, but notwithstanding, I never felt better and am in the best of health. We received a Canadian mail last night, but there is a previous one that has not yet located us. I got your letter of the 7th last night, and also the dandy parcel of chocolate cake, sugar, peanut butter, etc. The cake was simply great, and I can assure you that my old-time taste for chocolate has not been lessened. By the way, don't worry if those boots are delayed in coming, as I have my old ones fixed up and they are okay until they arrive. Those boots have paid for themselves 10 times over and are just the thing for this country. By the way, I saw Hillinen for the first time the other day. We were buzzing along a road in a motor lorry and he was standing alongside it with a horse. I just had time to yell at him and that was all. He seemed to be looking fine. Perhaps I may see him again soon. Things are pretty lively around here, and we are seeing lots as well as working hard. The ground can best be described as one continuous swamp pond. It is a job in itself, pulling yourself through it. However, where it is a general grievance, it is not felt so much. People can talk as they like, but Fritz certainly is putting up a remarkable fight. If you could only come out here and see on what a gigantic scale this war is being waged, it would certainly astound you. One has no idea of its immensity until he sees it at first hand. Lester is at Reading now, and I got a letter from him and Duke last night. They're both well and are having a fine time. So Mr. Austin spent a short while with you? I guess by now Mary is well into her 4th year at varsity. Things must be very dead there, especially as now they have brought in conscription. However, as soon as we finish up this business, we will liven things up there. This is only going to be a short letter, as time is very precious these days. My mail is getting badly in the rear, but it is important to do much writing at present. I hope you are both well, and don't worry over us. I am in the best of health and ready for lots of work. We'll write again soon. With much love, as ever, your loving son, Vaughn.
That set low, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders field. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we threw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep. Though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
The second letter. The archive collection includes 2 poems written by Gordon Barnes during World War II. Barnes had participated at Dieppe and was taken prisoner there. This poem, Dieppe, was written while he was a prisoner of war. Way Kent will share these words with us.
It was the 18th day of August in 1942. We sailed away from England. No one knew where to. We had received no orders, no friends to see us leave. The 2nd Canadian Division, with the blue patch on our sleeve. Early the next morning, when everything was still, we saw those tracer bullets come at us from the hill, though we kept right on sailing. And no one will forget the morning that we landed on the coast there at Dieppe. The enemy was waiting and had taken up their post. We met a hail of bullets as we landed on the coast. Every man there landed, or at least he tried. Many men were wounded there. Many more men died. It was early in the morning when we started in to fight. The mortar bombs came at us from in front and left and right. The shells came at us from the cliffs. They bombed us from the air. But the 2nd Canadian Division did not so easily scare. We fought there for 8 hours, from 6 a.m. till 2. Our losses were terrific. There's nothing we could do. The Navy came to help us, but their boats, they could not land. So we had to surrender at Dieppe, there on the sand. What is left of us now are prisoners beneath a foreign flag here in the heart of Germany in this 8B stalag. Though many of our comrades fell, we never will forget. They gave their lives there fighting in the Battle of Dieppe. When this war is over and once again we're free To our homeland, we'll be sailing to a land of liberty. Many have a battle scar. And there's no one will forget the morning that he landed on the French coast at Dieppe.
The third letter. Hallie Sloan was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba in 1920. At age 10, she and her family moved to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Ms. Sloan always had the desire to become a nurse and moved to Vancouver, where she obtained a nursing degree at the Vancouver General Hospital. When war was declared, she became very anxious to serve her country in the medical field. She decided to join the Army. She held the rank of Lieutenant Colonel and Matron-in-Chief in the medical service, serving in Germany and in many parts of Canada. After the war, Hallie continued her nursing career and devoted much of her time towards advocating the vital part that nursing sisters played during the wartime service and post-war. Ms. Sloan was the national president of the Nursing Association of Canada between 1994 and 1996 and was active in volunteer work throughout. She has become a strong role model for Nursing Sisters Association. This letter from Hallie in the voice of Lorraine Stokes.
You did your assignments, which were just like there would be in any hospital. Maybe you were in charge of penicillin. Maybe you were in charge of dressings or in charge of the pill part of it, or just helping. Just helping patients, encouraging them. And you did that all the time because you knew at night when you hear your patients crying, it's pretty awful. And they want their mothers. This is what they want. That's where I think the sisters did a lot of good, because they take time, talk to the chap, maybe give him a back rub, light a cigarette. If he didn't have a hand that could hold a cigarette, maybe one of his buddies did that, They helped. The ones who had a hand helped the ones who didn't have hands, It was just wonderful. But I think they looked on us as maybe as sisters. Well, you know what I mean, but as part of a family, and I think that maternal instinct that women have played a very big part, especially the young soldiers, because they were so far from home. And, maybe they hadn't had any mail for a month, and they'd be wondering about their family and that sort of thing. You could talk to them, and you could be treating them at the same time. You weren't wasting any time, but just that little few extra minutes to chat. Maybe they went to sleep right away afterwards, It was fulfilling. There was no glamour about it. It's all just blood and guts, as the boys say. Really, it's hard, slogging. There's nothing, not the least thing glamorous about it. I think we were all people that were just doing the jobs that were assigned to us. The infantry fought on their legs with their guns. The engineers built bridges and roads. The service people brought us all the equipment we needed, and the army repaired everything. Everybody had a specific function depending on what units they belonged to, and so the whole total effort came together. And I think that was what was the wonderful thing about it. And I don't think you see that in the movies. I don't know, because, as I said, I haven't really seen any. But the total effort combined was, I think, what paid off, of everybody doing their best. You couldn't help but think of those guys going out day after day with their life on the line and living in little slit trenches that wouldn't give you any protection at all. We were fortunate. We were cared for. We were looked after. We respected what they did and why they were doing it, and we were so grateful when they were successful. But there was a very deep respect for the nurses. The sisters were their friends, and we weren't as, maybe as strict as the male officers that they knew. They knew we were officers, and they respected us for that, but I think there was a real tender feeling towards the nurses, because they were the closest thing to home that they had.
Is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
Good morning. My name is Galen Elfert. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees here at UCV. I'm speaking to you today from Nelson, BC, the ancestral lands of the Ktunaxa, Syilx, and Sinixt peoples. As we heard earlier, a portion of today's offerings collected online or in baskets by the sanctuary exit will be shared with Quest. All the gifts we share of time, talent, and treasure support the work of UCV here and in the community. Please join me now in saying our affirmation of gratitude. Good morning. A portion of today's offerings collected online or in baskets by the sanctuary exit will be shared with Quest. All the gifts we share of time, talent, and treasure support the work of UCV here and in the community. Please join me now in saying our affirmation of gratitude, written on screen and in your orders of service. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for all those who share their gifts, for we are enriched by their giving. And let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may be held by the generosity of others. Thank you. Now, I also have some announcements today. The fourth and final CUC Forum on Dismantling Racism and the Eighth Principle will take place today at 4 p.m. Pacific Time. This fourth forum will focus on embracing the work ahead, expansion, and radical inclusion. After the end of the forum, there will be an opportunity to discuss the newly amended motion. You can find out more information and how to join the forum on Zoom by visiting cuc.ca/events. The following Sunday, November 14th, UCV will be hosting a forum on the Eighth Principle for people to share their thoughts and responses to the changes to the proposal. To attend online, visit ucv.im/forums after the service next Sunday, November 14th. Finally, all church members should by now have received notice of the upcoming annual general meeting, taking place at 12:30 on Sunday, November 21st. Please be sure to register for the meeting in advance by visiting ucv.im/agm. There you will also find all of the relevant meeting documents. Thank you.
Spirit of life and love, God of memory, mourning, and history, bring before us the truths of serving in war. Bring before us, in compassion and in gratitude, those who faced violence so that we may know peace. We remember these sacrifices through monuments. We remember these names carved into stone. Inscribe them on our hearts this day. Inscribe them on our conscience every day, so that, like the stone that bears their names, freedom from violence may endure in our nation and around the world. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of peace, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. I invite you to raise the flame that you are carrying in your hearts up into your hands and look to one another and share appreciation for all that we have received today from our musicians, from our volunteer voices, from our technical crew, from our dedicated staff, and from one another in our presence. Carry the flame.